You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, you weirdos. Jim here, and it's time once again to look forward to the coming week of comics with the anticipated comics for the week that is mostly May 1st, 2024. And with DC having books actually come out on Tuesday, April 31st, they have an annuals week, so they don't have a lot of books coming out. Marvel makes up for it. They always have a ton of books coming out, but in general, I don't have a lot of books on my list this week, but that doesn't mean that I, don't have anything. And some of these are number ones and the sort, but there is a kind of a lack of ongoing things that I've been into this coming up week. So what I really would love is for people to let me know what you're anticipating, what you're looking forward to, because maybe there are some things that I haven't really checked out. They've fallen through the cracks. And I say it each and every time we do this show. The show is for people to jump on, seeing what I'm looking forward to, but also letting me and everyone else know what they're looking forward to in the comments below. And then we can all maybe learn of a couple books that we didn't realize were coming out this week or coming out in general. And that kind of gets the pull list, bigger. There's always comics out there to enjoy. I know that a lot of people want to be negative nasties and tell everybody that all the comics suck. There's always some good things to be had. And there's always some things to at least hope they will be good, because we're going to be starting events this week. We're going to be continuing events. We're going to do all sorts of things, but we're going to start with DC Comics. And DC Comics doesn't have a lot of books coming out. I said they have an annuals week. And the book that I'm anticipating from them, and I only have one, it's Superman House of Brainiac Special #1. And I've been enjoying the House of Brainiac enough. I like the Superman issue. I like the Action Comic issue. Once you get Leah Williams and the Power Girl involved, yeah, I didn't love that. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf once told us. But here we go. Superman House of Brainiac Special #1 is written by Joshua Williamson and Mark Russell. I'm not a huge fan of Mark Russell, but I could take him in little snippets and tidbits, and I think that's what we're going to get here in a Bibbo story. But art by Edwin Galmon, Fico Ocio, and Steve Pugh. $5.99 that one is, but it is a special. House of Brainiac Part 2.5, right? 2.5. An essential issue in the Action Comics Superman crossover is Brainiac's secret history with Lobo and Zarnia is revealed. How did Brainiac create a bottled city of Zarnia? Probably how he created all the bottled cities. I mean, that's his thing, right? Who steps up to protect Metropolis after Brainiac's army leaves it in ruins? Kind of saw that as well. I don't want to sound like a negative nasty myself here, but we kind of saw that it was Steel, Natasha, Hawkgirl, and Power Girl, but we'll see. Maybe there's more. Will Lois Lane confront Perry White about his own secrets as he runs for mayor of Metropolis? Now, this is interesting. That little thing, the idea that Perry White had some secrets buried deep below, that came up when you ended up having the Chained story, stuff with Farm and Graff, and then what eventually became the Lex Luthor Revenge Squad, that there was something in there about when Lex first came to Metropolis that Perry White seemed to have buried a story or was involved more. So that's kind of cool to maybe find out what that was, though. I think it's a weird time to do that, Lois. You got other things going on here. This House of Brainiac, a lot of trouble. But I guess she's always snooping, that Lois, right? So we'll see what's involved there. And how is Amanda Waller involved in all of this? I'm sure by the end she'll claim that she was all involved, that it was all her plan. She seems to do that. She takes credit for a lot of things, but we'll see. All these questions are answered in this crucial issue that connects to DC's Superman-sized event. They keep trying to push that this is important, right? That usually means it isn't, but I think it might be. Meanwhile, Bibbo steps up. This is where I think Mark Russell comes in. With the heroes gone and a city in need of some champions, everyone's favorite bartender, we'll have to, we could have a survey on that to see if he's actually everyone's favorite bartender, but organizes the community to save their beloved home. I like Woody from Cheers as my favorite bartender, but that is just me. But that is it for DC. But I am looking forward to that. But they don't have a lot coming out. So it's not like I'm like, oh man, I'm dissing DC. This is like half of the books that are coming out almost. So check those out. Let me know if you are looking forward to any of the other DC things. But we're going to go to Marvel, and this is where the big event starts. I don't know if you know this, but Blood Hunt, it's a big event. And I'm saying right now, before it comes out, not even knowing, I'm talking quantity. Hopefully there's quality, but boy, there is quantity because there seems to be 60 plus issues that are going to make up this Blood Hunt. And that is darn right outrageous is what it is. But the first issue has to hit. If this first issue doesn't hit, we got a long time coming before we're at the end. And I think that they're going to put the best foot forward. You have Jed McKay. He's going to come out of the gates raring to go, right? We'll see. Blood Hunt #1, written by Jed McKay, art by Pepe Larraz, $5.99. The bloodiest Marvel event ever. The skies have gone dark. The sun hiding its face from the carnage to come. I have a problem with saying carnage in any solicit that is at Marvel when you don't really mean Carnage himself, but that's fine. The children of the night, the vampires, have risen from the dark and hidden places of the world as one to drown the Marvel Universe in blood. Drown it in blood. Earth's final night has fallen. Can even the heroes of this doomed world stem the tide of blood that is to come? Join the Avengers, Blade, Bloodline, Spider-Man. Nobody cares about Bloodline. Spider-Man, Hunter's Moon, Tigra, Doctor Strange, and Clea as the dance of death begins. That's a dance that we could all step to the beat, right? Begins in Blood Hunt #1, right? Yeah. I hope it's good. As you can tell from the characters that are named at the end, Jed McKay's using a lot of stuff that he's writing. So that's kind of cool. Bloodline, Blade, I'm in. So we'll see how it goes. I really do. Fingers crossed. I hope that this starts out good just to keep the momentum going. If you end up coming out and fumble it right away, like I said, that's big trouble because there's a lot of issues to follow. The next one is, and I don't know if you know this, there's this little Deadpool movie coming out, like Wolverine might be in it, and they just had a trailer that people laughed. There was a lot of F-bombs, and I ended up blushing because I'm a good boy. Deadpool and Wolverine World War III #1 comes out as well. And that's written by Joe Kelly with art by Adam Kubert. I saw some of the previews. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this. The cover price is $4.99. I didn't say it already, but I will tell you that I will have videos and reviews for Blood Hunt, this Deadpool and Wolverine, and the next book that I'm talking about, and we'll also feature those on this week's, or at least next week's, Marvel Comics podcast. But back to Deadpool and Wolverine World War III #1. It's a mouthful. Wade Wilson and Logan at the ends of the earth and each other's throats. The most intensely mismatched team-up in comics and pop culture. The best there is, and the Merc with a mouth, undergoes radical change as we kick off a 3-part globe-spanning saga for the ages. The mysterious Delta believes in change. Change is good. That's what Delta says. I've heard different. But as he sets his sights on Deadpool and Wolverine is caught up in the plot, is the third time really the charm or the curse? I say both. And the curse might be the F-bomb, and then I'll blush because I'm a good boy. Get ready for World War III to erupt on the scene with the wildest duo in comics from Legends, Joe Kelly, Deadpool, Uncanny X-Men, and Adam Kubert, Wolverine, Uncanny X-Men. So those are some good pedigree there. And Joe Kelly and Adam Kubert, they are legends, I say. So this does look fun. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to reading, reviewing it, and maybe having a smile on my face. The next and last book from Marvel, Get Fury #1. Funny is they call it Get Fury #1, and I swear they should call it Punisher Get Fury #1, but they still end up running scared about Frank Castle Punisher. This is a book that takes place back in the day, so I think they're trying to like finagle it like, oh, we're not going to have Frank Castle Punisher right now in the current times. But back in the day, it was fine. And this was a book that I ended up telling people to wait for when they were upset about that David P. Post garbage Punisher book that came out. Just complete garbage, that one. But here it is. It's coming out. Get Fury #1's written by Garth Ennis. Art by Goran Parlov and Jason Burrows. And it is $3.99, holding that line at $3.99. Garth Ennis returns to Marvel with Nick Fury and Frank Castle as you've never seen. It's 1971. There is a war raging in Vietnam, and Nick Fury has been captured by the Viet Cong. At this moment, they don't quite understand that they have in their possession a man who knows enough secrets to damage the United States beyond comprehension. The CIA, however, does realize this, and they can't risk their enemy getting those secrets. So they dispatch the most deadly men in the U.S. Army, Lieutenant Frank Castle. So yeah, you get classic Frank. Welcome back, Frank, is what you should say, right? Especially with Garth Ennis here. And yeah, maybe this is that first step. Maybe if people do end up buying this, it will show. I think that Marvel doesn't need to be shown that people want Frank Castle Punisher back in classic Frank Castle Punisher. But if this does sell well, I think that they'll have to kind of go with it, even though they're running scared still, because it should be called Punisher Get Fury, #1, in my mind. But there you go. That's the Marvel books. As I said, we'll be talking about those 3 on the podcast, but also videos for that. We will move on to the indie books. I have 2 indie books, one which I didn't even hear about beforehand. I'm like, all right, let's throw it in here. Let's see how it is. And I'll start with that. It's from Image Comics, and it's Bear, Pirate, Viking, Queen, #1, written by Sean Lewis, with art by Jonathan Marks Barravecchia. $4.99 miniseries premiere from Sean Lewis, King Spawn, comes a blood-splattered story of conquest. Bears, pirates, Vikings, oh my, and queens, all battling for their claim to determine what the world will become. Rendered in stunning watercolor by artist Jonathan Marks Barravecchia. I want to say Barracuda every time I see it. It's a gorgeous story of the blood spilled to make countries. And what's cooler than bears, pirates, Vikings, and queens? What is cooler? With 72 stunning pages. And 72 pages for $4.99? Pretty good. It's sure to be one of the most beautiful and thought-provoking books of the year. Now, I'm not usually into watercolor style art for books. I tend to think that it doesn't really give you a lot of motion and progression of a story. It tends to be very staticky, but I haven't seen this. I haven't even seen the preview. So I'm hoping for the best, but I just, threw it out there because it's a new #1. Seemed kind of neat. Really, it was the name. The name got me. But I'm going to move to the last book, and that's it. This is going to be it for this week. Again, please let me know if there's books that you're looking forward to, something that you think that maybe people should have their eyes on, even if it's an ongoing. I mean, I keep saying this too. The idea that some books are coming out and they're well into their run, I haven't read them yet. So if you do point something out, seems pretty cool. I have gone and caught up on some things and even have them reviewed with that. So, things like, I'm trying to think. Can't even think of any. Oh my, something like The Infernals. I ended up reviewing that because people had suggested it. There, see, I did think of something. There's a bunch of others too. Here is the final book, The Savage Sword of Conan, #2, written by Jim Zub, with Patch Zurcher on writing and art, and Richard Pace on art as well. It's Titan Books, and it's $6.99. The first issue was really cool. It was very big, really cool. And I think that this will continue the same. The return of a cult classic title. The Savage Sword of Conan continues its triumphant return from heroic signatures and Titan Comics, featuring a new Conan epic from writer Jim Zub and artist Richard Pace. The exciting continuation of writer-artist Pat Zurcher's Solomon Kane tale. That was what I liked the most in that first issue. Spectacular covers from Dave Dorman and Nick Marinkovich. Jaw-dropping art pinups, and more. Even more than jaw-dropping art pinups. The Savage Sword of Conan, issue #2, is an onslaught of awe-inspiring adventure. And that is it for the show. A very quick, easy-peasy in-and-out show. There's a lot more comics coming out, obviously, so I'm hoping that people have some other suggestions. And as I said, we can all get together and kind of check out everything that each one of us is digging and anticipating, and that just makes us fans of more comics. But that is it. Look for a bunch of these to be reviewed on the channel here and in the various podcasts that I am involved with. But that's that. So thanks, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing your suggestions, and I'll talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.